What's up, everybody? This is the Hip Pause Podcast with your host,
David.
And myself, Iman.
Nice. Nice. That was really good.
That was actually the most professional sounding intro we've done.
I almost want to mess it up right now, but let's keep going.
You already have.
Alright, so who do we have today?
Today we're talking... We're taking a little bit of a change, actually. We're doing someone a little bit different.
Wait. So we're not mainstream?
Well, that depends on your definition of mainstream.
As in, we bring up only people that everyone knows about or should know about.
It's true. We're going off mainstream, unmainstream, with kind of a more he's definitely he's got the most chilled videos, probably on the whole of YouTube.
What, even more chilled than what's his name, Bob Ross?
Okay, no more chilled than Bob Ross. Yeah. Bob Ross always wins on that. So we're talking about Primitive Technology this week, who's a YouTuber who pretty much goes to the woods and makes tools and makes stuff out of mud and sticks.
So he's like, he just tries to survive and records it.
Well, he's not really surviving because he doesn't live there in the woods.
He's just showing people how to survive if they had to.
It's not really about it's not survival like Ray Mears or Bear Grylls.
Right.
It's more like this is how they lived in primitive times.
Oh, okay.
It's like a History Channel kind of thing.
Gotcha.
But here's a key thing about him, which is really different from any other YouTuber.
Yeah.
He does not say a word.
So no one's actually heard of his voice on that channel?
No.
Interesting. Do we know his name?
No.
Well, it's better than Poppy, isn't it? Interesting. Okay.
So his videos are basically just, shot from a faraway angle usually, and just watching him, collecting sticks, or he will be making a mud hut. And there's no explanation, there's no speaking.
Yeah, if anything, because I've seen a few, and I know we're going to dive into the format of his videos, but I always thought, if you're going to show something that's not like a common man wouldn't know about, I would expect them to be like how-to kind of videos, like step 1, build this. He doesn't even give you that.
No, here's the thing. He, in his own words, this is from his bio on YouTube, he says, when I watch how-to videos, I always fast forward past the part talking... Wait, what? He's written this weirdly.
he's written in a primitive way.
Primitive writing technique. He basically says, I fast forward past the talking part to see the action. So I leave it out of my videos in favor of pure demonstration.
Okay.
Which kind of makes sense, because when you actually watch the videos, you can kind of understand what he's doing. And you should
use your brain anyway.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah, put that 2 and 2 together.
But alongside his channel, he actually does also have a blog.
Okay.
Each one of his videos, he writes a long blog post
on
as
his,
well.
WordPress.com thing.
Yeah. So he does actually give some explanation if you want to know more. And also he replies to comments on that WordPress all the time. As well as sometimes on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, he puts effort into these videos.
Yeah. So what's an example of a video title or something he's done, or maybe what's your favorite video?
A favorite's tricky, but so here's a couple examples. The other day he showed how to make. He basically got metal. He got iron ore out of clay, basically. Right. So what he had to do, he makes all the tools he uses himself.
Right, that's his catch. There's using other things to make something in the primitive times. Everything is
done absolutely as they would have done. So what he had to do is basically he had to go and collect all this mud and stuff so the theory behind what he was doing in this one was you have to, I don't know what it is, you have to melt certain types of mud and stone to a point where the metal, the iron ore inside of it, microscopic amounts, melts and gets separated from the rest of the stuff. Okay? So what he had to do this was he had to get clay to build a furnace. Then he had to get build a blowing mechanism with like a fan that he operated by hand to blow lots of air into the fire to get it hot enough to actually melt iron.
Right.
And then, puts the mud in, melts it, and comes out with like tiny little bits of iron. Like nothing. But it just amazingly
Which kind of just
impressive.
shows you how much would have to go into it. A lot of people think it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Interesting. And is there like a timeline? So like if he's had to make something that obviously would take a day. Because I think there was a video on, he was making yams or something in like the section that he had near the hut. And obviously you don't do that in a day. So
yeah, he doesn't. I mean, again, there's no talking, there's no annotations. He doesn't say how long it takes, but some of them, certainly, are over a few days or even over a few weeks in the case of him growing the food and stuff. So, do you want to guess how many subscribers he has?
That's a good point. I don't think I actually know. I know like the views, roughly that he gets, which are like around the 8, 10. I know some are a lot higher, but the average.
Yeah. His views are insane. In fact.
And he doesn't have that many videos. Am I right?
Yeah. So
I think he's had like 31 in like 2 years. 2 years of doing this.
Yeah, about 31. So he has 6.6 million subscribers.
Good return.
Incredible return. Yeah. His videos, I mean, I'm just looking at the most recent ones. He's getting, so he just posted one a day ago.
Right.
4 million views. Okay, that's in one day.
That's
ridiculous. Then, 4 weeks ago, he's got like almost 7 mil. Then he's got 19 million views, 10 million views, 15 million views.
And exactly. Like what that clearly means, and like we've talked about loads of other YouTubers before, is like once you get more views than how many subscribers you've got, clearly people are sharing this with other people who don't know about him compared to like just the fans watching. Yeah.
It's actually insane, like the amount of return. It's crazy. But it is such a shareable
it is.
Video. And it is quality. Like he puts effort into these. It's not just, here's my February's beauty haul. It's like he puts in research to do this.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you a little bit about the guy because I've read about, who he is and stuff.
Right.
So he's basically just a normal guy.
Do you know his nationality? I was going to try and guess.
You can guess. Go ahead.
I'm going to go with...
do you want to guess his nationality or do you want to guess where he's actually doing all this stuff? Where's he based?
Because I thought I read it somewhere about... Because he apparently bought a plot of land to do all this. And I can't remember where. He just said... I think I saw the word tropical. And that's all I took from it. So where is he?
Well, he's in Australia.
Australia.
So yeah, he actually just recently bought a new plot of land to do stuff in.
Okay.
So he basically, he buys this land and he goes out and does stuff. But he's a normal guy. I don't know if he actually.
Oh, so he's not like a war veteran recluse or anything like
no.
that.
In fact, he says specifically, he's never been in the army or anything.
Really?
He has.
He watches Orange is the New Black on Fridays. Just your average guy.
Yeah, he subscribes to PewDiePie.
Yeah.
He lives in a normal house. He eats normal food. He doesn't stay out in the wilderness.
Well, that kind of ruins it, but
he just says he does occasionally.
I'm glad he's honest. Yeah.
To be honest, he could some of the huts that he makes.
Yeah.
Are ridiculous. Yeah. So he's just kind of does it because he loves it. He basically goes out and does a bunch of research, reads lots of books and things, and then goes for a few days and actually makes the stuff and tries it out. Yeah. But there's a lot of trial and error, right?
Yeah, of course.
There was a bit where he was making arrowheads, and he made these razor sharp out of stones by just chipping off little bits of stone. It's crazy.
And that must have been a lot of hours of work.
Yeah, hours of work.
Not even hours, probably even longer.
Yeah, but he said he messed up so many times.
Oh, really?
He spent hours on one arrowhead, and then the last hit, it cracks in.
It's like creating when you do dominoes, and you do a long set around your house, and then you just knock one by accident, you just ruin it.
Yeah.
Do you reckon? So from that, do you reckon he's doing this by himself, or do you think he has a crew that's to speed up the process?
No. He's entirely by himself. That's the whole point. He's completely self-sufficient. There is not one modern tool. Not one.
Oh, no, not in
as well.
tools,
but people.
Recording and all that.
No, all by himself. He just has a camera and a tripod.
Interesting.
That's the only modern thing as well. So, and his videos, because he's never speaking or anything and it's just looking and it's in the woods, they're just the most relaxing things.
Yeah.
Even earlier today, I was just sitting doing something else with it on in the background.
It's good.
And just the sounds.
Yeah, or just
the rustling leaves.
Yeah. Like birds chirping and even just noise that would actually annoy people. But because it's so natural, it's actually not annoying. So rocks hitting each other or water splashing on leaves and stuff. It's just really good.
Yeah. It's I feel connected to nature just by watching his video on the internet, on YouTube, on my computer, at home, at my desk.
Yeah. With 5 screens on.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely a, what do you call it? Not your everyday production. I do admire that people like him who are not going down the mainstream, as we use that word again, and... yeah, he's getting far by just being himself and making videos that he obviously enjoys. Because I'm assuming he doesn't make it every Monday, I'll give you a video. He just does it when
no, exactly. In fact, he roughly posts about one or two a month, something like that. I mean, to be fair, it takes a lot of effort to make these, I think.
So you could never really say your videos will come on a certain day or whatever.
Yeah. So from what I can tell, that he might actually be part of a wider group of YouTubers
that do that.
Yeah. So in his about section, the related channels are all these ones that start with the word primitive. Although I think related channels are actually...
I'm a little bit worried about related channels nowadays because I was even searching for somebody else and I didn't believe that.
Yeah. It's funny because I've just clicked on it for his.
Yeah. One
of the related, PewDiePie.
But then again, he's a normal guy, so you don't know.
Yeah. But there's actually a lot of... they must be copycat channels, in fact, because there's a lot of YouTubers now called primitive... something. Right. Primitive skills, primitive life.
Primitive vlogging.
Yeah. We made this camera from scratch. Using mud and
my
sticks.
videos in 360p. Jeez.
By the way, have you been back and watched any old YouTube videos? I was
they
doing
don't
it the
bother
other day.
me too much. Do they bother
kidding?
you?
I can't watch it. I went and watched some old ones that I'd favorited, 8 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And I couldn't watch it. Even the sound, it's bad. How could we be watching that stuff at the time?
No, I think I can just about do it.
Really?
Yeah. 240? Nah, that's too much. But I could do 360 is normal because that's 4 years ago when our phones would probably do that when watching YouTube on the phone. I don't know. I can do it.
I'd rather watch 720p and be buffering every 5 seconds than watch a 360p video.
With no problems, yeah. No, that makes sense.
So yeah, that's basically primitive technology. I mean, this guy is just an absolute... He's a maverick.
Oh, really? Just throwing that word
Logan Paul. No, we're done with the Logan Paul plugs now.
Yeah, no, I guess that's the whole point of these podcasts anyway, is to show and YouTubers who people wouldn't know about and get them. So definitely I would recommend him as well. I've seen a few. I plan on watching all the videos.
It is just such a nice change from your average video. It's just a nice relaxation.
Yeah, but would you say you've learnt a lot from him?
Yeah, I could live in the woods.
Really?
Yeah, I could do it.
Could you?
I'll make the mud hut. I'll make the tiles. Even when he makes a mud hut and tiles the roof, he makes the tiles from scratch. Out of clay, and he makes his own furnace.
Right.
I mean, it's painstaking. He put heated floor in one of them.
Well, now he's just being fancy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, I figured if you got a heated floor and a tiled roof, well, just live out there for a week. Why not?
It's true. Actually, no, that is actually very important because it would get really cold. So, no, it's probably a necessity rather than luxury.
So another little, a cute little detail about him. He does always reply to comments and things. Every single comment that he posts, he just ends with the word "thanks." It's just the nicest.
Oh yeah, so that kind of goes back. So where's he from? Because I'm not gonna say an American. It's that polite.
So he says he's actually from Europe.
Okay.
Didn't say where.
I mean, Europe is a country.
Yeah.
So just quoting England is my city.
England is my city.
Yeah, I can't imagine there'll ever be like comment warfare in any of his videos. Like so of course he can always be like, thanks. No one's gonna ever argue with him.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. This kind of leads me to my favorite question I like to ask people is like, apocalypse, and you have a backpack, what 5 things would you put in there?
Well, if I'm looking at primitive technology, I would empty it out on the floor,
right.
throw that backpack in the bin,
and then just grab it.
And I'd wander out into the woods.
Of course, yeah. And then just his his video descriptions and write them down on paper. Yeah. So you need. Jeez. Well, if the most primitive thing I would take is definitely an axe.
He makes his own axe.
He makes his own axe.
Yeah. Makes his own axe out of stone and a piece of wood.
Need I say more?
All right, let's do the quiz.
Nice.
So every week we do a little quiz where I'm going to be quoting some top comments from some of Primitive Technology's videos. And David has to decide if it's real or fake.
Yeah, and I have to also, bearing in mind, I don't know his YouTube audience to know how they speak, to gauge their approach to his videos.
Right, his audience is 20 million viewers.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's everyone.
Yeah. Got a lot to deal with. I'm ready though. Okay,
let's go. Become one with the mud.
That's obviously real.
Okay, why?
Because that sounds... that's not you, and that sounds like I would expect that. I would expect that.
It's fake.
Really? Damn.
Yeah, I was just watching him. He does a lot of stuff with mud. I mean, you'd be amazed what you can do with mud.
Yeah, and it's probably every starting point anyway. Yeah. So, interesting.
Okay, next. I'm addicted to this. It's kind of a boring comment.
Yeah. And also, I don't know why I assumed you said I'm addicted to this. I don't know why.
What's with your mind?
I'm just trying to become one with YouTube comments.
That is the kind of trash that will be in YouTube comments.
I'm gonna say fake again. Fake.
It is real. That is on his natural draft furnace video, which is...
Did you say natural or national?
Natural.
Okay.
Which is kind of... I mean, it's just a crazy thing. Like, it's so interesting. It's actually really... It's really cool to see how clever primitive people actually were.
Oh, okay.
As in, with no tools or that much knowledge and stuff, they actually come up with a lot of smart, clever things. Like, so the natural draft furnace is essentially a furnace, like a column. It's basically a column of, walls with a fire inside. And it's got certain holes in it that make the air naturally get sucked in and up the furnace. This basically stokes the fire and makes the fire hotter without actually doing anything.
Why the hell did we not learn this in school?
I know, right? This is what we should be being taught.
All this theory, just throw us out there, like last child to make it back to the school.
Sit us down in front of primitive technology,
exactly,
for about 3 weeks, and then send them out into the wild.
Yeah, parents will be so proud.
Okay, you're on 0 out of 5 so far.
Good, primitive maths there.
Someone add this guy as a custom civilization in Age of Empires.
That's real.
It is real. Yeah. It is real.
That's a really good comment.
Yeah, I think it's a good comment too. There's actually a few of them like, this guy would kill it in Civ. Yeah, this was on the new area starting from scratch video, which is his most recent one. So this is basically, he bought, I mentioned earlier, he bought a new plot of land.
Also in Australia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He says he was basically, he's been saving up for a while to do this.
Really? On those views?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I guess land is expensive.
Land is expensive.
But then again, land in Australia can't be that expensive. There's so much of it, and there's like nothing there.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's empty. Anyway. So, yeah. All right.
So what, two more questions?
2 more.
2 more.
You've got 1 out of 5 so far.
I'm used to that.
Well, you get your record is 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
I think that's the best you've ever done. Okay. When the zombie apocalypse bursts, I wanted this guy in my survivors team. Heart. A heart with the
3 and
3 and less than sign.
Less than. Yeah.
That's some primitive maths right there.
I just had to rewind back to school. Like, yeah, that is the lesson.
Primitive heart sign.
I mean, that was just and that's top comment material, I think. No. I'm going to go with real, because you can't be that bad.
It's real.
Yes.
Good job.
Because that's just a bad comment, but why is it the top comment?
No, it is a bad comment. But yeah, that was on his sandals video. What do you need sandals for in the zombie apocalypse?
Well, in the woods, I definitely agree. So,
I mean, yeah, I'm just saying the comment isn't really relevant.
Yeah, that's true.
He basically just weaves reeds and things together.
I see. Well,
sandals.
In fairness,
pretty cool.
So I'm assuming he made the sandals from scratch as well.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Why
sandals are completely from scratch, yeah.
So
woven together bits of bark, basically.
I see. Because I'm a big fan of a show on the Discovery Channel called Naked and Afraid, where they send 2 people naked, and they're only allowed to bring 1 item. And I really like that show because...
What item do they usually bring?
Well...
Give me some examples.
Usually, they're not that primitive, so I think you can bring a fire starter, and most people bring a machete. I did hear one time, because it's always a man and a woman, I did hear one time a guy brought condoms, just for the lols. But yeah, so it's really, like, I know it's a TV show, and obviously they'll probably help them out if they're struggling. But the one thing I have realized...
I'm not going to leave them to die.
Yeah, unfortunately. No matter what wave...
This is great content. Keep those cameras on.
Wake up. What's happening? So the one thing I've always noticed, and one thing I definitely believe is real, is as soon as you dropped anywhere, like a rainforest or whatever, make sandals. Because you walking around, your feet are very vulnerable. And yeah... Definitely something I would actually want to learn, mate.
Fair enough. I mean, it doesn't actually look that hard, this one.
Yeah,
it's just weaving the stuff together.
It's too...
I read his blog post about this one, and he actually says apparently the ancient Greeks actually just didn't bother wearing sandals. They just walked around barefoot. Of course, they're not walking around in the woods, though.
Yeah, true. And some could argue that it makes your feet stronger by putting them on the most rough surfaces. But, I'd rather protect them.
Fair enough. Okay, last one.
To break my poor record.
Okay. Next week, Twig TV.
Should I get that? Because I don't get that.
I think it's like, he's going to make a TV out of twigs.
Okay, I see where we're going. That's probably real.
It's fake!
Are you serious?
Yes, I
Damn
came
it.
up with that one.
Ugh.
Man, I should be writing these comments on these videos.
Jeez.
Much better than the stuff most people post. So many of them are rubbish.
Have you ever had a top comment ever? Like, I don't know if you leave comments in general.
I don't really leave comments in general. Do you?
Back in the day, it was probably like a couple of years ago, I was second, like, because YouTube had a different, like, commenting system back then, but I was second for, I can't remember the video.
What was your comment?
I really wish, because I wanted to screenshot it, but I had a BlackBerry at the time, and it didn't have that, like, I don't know why, I just didn't actually go to a computer. I tried to do it on my phone, and I was installing apps that could screen grab. Before nowadays, it's like,
Press the
comes
button.
with the phone.
Yeah.
But back then, BlackBerry was not having it.
You probably still can't do it on a BlackBerry.
It's true. Yeah, you probably can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, good feeling when you get likes. I just want someone to like me.
Oh, jeez.
Alright, so 2 out of 5. Typical.
Good job. Good work. And that about wraps us up for this week's Hit Pause podcast.
So yeah, I urge anyone to use a primitive search engine like ask.com and
Ask Jeeves, yeah.
Yahoo search and search for primitive technology.
Hey, even use Bing.
Oh, what?
Oh,
Whoa.
burn. Because it's primitive.
There
but it's
goes
new.
our sponsor.
Sorry, Microsoft. Okay, thanks for listening. Next week, we're going to have a little video about...
Niga Higa.
Niga Higa. See you then.
See ya.